Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in. Winning cures everything. It is Thursday, June 4th. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm trying to share this stuff out, and I keep getting emails. I'm at the office today, for those of you that have not seen. But yeah, I'm trying to rock and roll. I'm using a different mic today. We had to test a few things, so that is why we're running a little bit later than usual. Hopefully everybody is doing well today. There are, just a ton of news stories. Everything is going bananas in this country. And, of course, sports is going to have a big part of that. So we're trying to share the show out. We're trying to get it rock and roll, and there we go. All right, we got it.
Let's share that on Facebook. So I got that alert.
Okay. You got your shared out on Facebook?
Yeah, I saw it come through my Facebook.
Okay. I'm getting back into the swing of things. I'm only going to be on site at the office one day a week. So it's kind of a little different than than I'm used to. I've got everything set up at home. Ben said on Twitch, he said, everything is nuts today. Matt said, what's up? So obviously the chat is working. Everything is good to go. We've got Twitch and and YouTube. Michael jumps in, said, what's up, fellas? Back at work, Gary? Yes, I am. It is phase 1 of reopening, and I am here one day a week for the entire month of June, and then I believe it is 2 days a week going into July. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But right now, I feel confident. I've got my mask. Let me show this thing off for the people that are watching at home. I got my Memphis mask, and it works well, but you can't really hear me if I'm wearing it. So I had to take that off. There's nobody else in my office, so we're good to go on that. WinningCuresEverything.com, of course, is the website. Picks, previews, podcasts, videos, social media platforms, everything else you could possibly need about us is on that website. Make sure you are subscribed for the live show every Monday through Friday. We try and jump in here and give you our opinions on what is going on in the world of sports. You can get us on Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you don't catch the show live, that is perfectly fine. You can replay it at any of those locations if you want to watch it, or you can listen. Listening, of course, our favorite way to do it, because I listen to podcasts literally every single day. And you can get it at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, whatever your favorite podcast app is. If you do that, one, share the show out. If you're watching or listening, share it out. That helps us more than you could possibly know. Tell a friend about it, etc. And leave a nice review. That always helps. 5 stars, if you would so kindly, and something written. If you want to ask a question or whatever in there, it'll pop up for us, and we will be able to answer it on the show. TunicaTravel.com is the website for Tunica, Mississippi. They are the South's premier sports gambling destination. They got 6 incredible sports books. Go find the information for yourself. They're reopening. They got all kind of policies and protocols and everything else going on, but they are open. And their sports books are rocking, and they are ready to get baseball back. They're ready to get basketball back. They're ready to get everything else back. They've already got other things that are happening. UFC 250 is this Saturday. You're going to be able to bet on that. Go down there and check it out for yourself. You can check it out online before you go, tunicatravel.com. Let's jump into the first topic of the day. The NBA is officially coming back. July 31st is the first date that we will see games. And let me try and brief this for you as easily as possible. We don't know schedules yet. We know that there are 22 teams that are coming back, 13 from the West and 9 from the East. Basically, anybody that had a shot to get to the playoffs that was within enough games that could actually make the playoffs, they set up 8 games, and you can come back and try and compete to get into that spot. Now, what they're going to do with the 8 and the 9 seeds, if the 9 seed is within 4 games of the 8 seed, they're going to have a best-of-3 series for that last playoff spot. Before we go further, Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
So I'm not opposed to that. It is kind of weird that the Wizards are definitely basically in the playoffs because they only brought 9 from the East, and they're going to continue with this East-West situation. When I saw the 22 teams yesterday, my first thought was, well, they're definitely doing away with East-West thing because we got 13 from one and 9 from the other, and that's just not how math works. So once again, things are much more difficult for those teams in the East and that are in the West, and that just kind of sucks.
It does suck, but to be fair, the teams in the West, you've got the Grizzlies that are currently in the 8th spot. They're 3.5 games above 3 other teams.
That's right.
And then they're 4 games above the Spurs, who are sitting at number 12 in the West.
But you don't think that we could do this exact same formula, but do away with the East versus West this one year? And that way, some of those other teams are far more deserving than the Wizards, right? Like we all agree with that.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, 100%. Look, if they did it 1 through 16, the Grizzlies, who are the 8th seed in the West, would be the 14 seed.
Yeah.
Out of 16. So the last 2 teams that are actually in the playoffs in the East would be the 2 last place teams in the playoffs. I mean,
that's pending. That's pending that we end it the way, it ended the season so far. I'm good with the 8-team round robin or however they're going to figure out. I think everybody's going to play in that 8-game thing.
Well, no, what they're going to do.
The other teams have to get some.
I'll explain it to you. All the teams are going to play 8 games, and they are following their schedule as it was initially constructed, but only based on the teams that are actually there, right?
That's right.
So the Grizzlies, every team that was left on their schedule is here. So it's just going to go the next 8 games. For other teams that were playing some of the last-place teams, they don't get that luxury anymore. They've got to play, 8 pretty good teams. So that's going to be kind of difficult for some of these teams to make up enough ground to get within that slot. Now, what's going to be weird, I haven't seen what they're going to do about this yet, but what happens if you've got 2 teams that are tied for 9th place? Do you just have a 1-game playoff at that point? I mean,
no, they're not going to play an extra game before this other thing. I'm going to bet they're going to go to some playoff or some tiebreaker, and it's probably going to go back to divisional wins, which is the first tiebreaker, and then conference wins. That conference wins and then divisional wins. One of those 2 is the breaker, and then the other one's the next step. And they'll just do that.
Ben jumps in on the Twitch. He said, "I like your white cinder block wall." Yes, thank you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. My office is a little antiquated. This building was built in the 1950s. Has not had much of an update since then. But, hey, it works for me for right now. Michael said, just don't be the guy that drives with your mask on alone in your car. No worries there. If I don't have to wear the mask, I ain't wearing it. It's all good. And then Michael said, I saw Portland got in. Thank goodness we don't have to listen to Dame cry about being left out. That's the reason we're doing this is because Dame and his bunch complained about it.
I think this is the right way to do it to begin with. I kind of thought they should have done either equal numbers from the East, which would have upset some of the West teams that didn't make this thing, but at least it would have worked out mathematically better, or not done away with the East and West and let's just let them mix it up and figure it out. But neither here nor there. We're here. We have a solution. We're about to have real sports back. As much as I like the UFC, we're having one of the top 2 sports in the country back.
Yes, agreed.
So I'm happy. I'm good. We're gonna get something that we can watch and cheer for and find people to root against and whatever.
The vote by the Board of Governors was overwhelmingly passed. It was a 29-1 vote. Now, would you like to guess who the team was that voted against the 22-team format?
Well, it has to be a team that got left out.
That would be incorrect.
Oh, no, then I have no idea. I would have certainly guessed one of the teams that got left out.
That would be the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers voted against it because, now this is what they had left in the regular season. They had the Clippers, Warriors, Nuggets, Cavs, Grizzlies, Jazz.
Oh, they got a hard schedule left. They got to play a bunch of easy teams early.
No. What I'm saying is they end up, because they've also got the Pistons, the Hornets, the Timberwolves again, the Grizzlies again, the Rockets, the Mavericks. I mean, they had some easy wins on their schedule that they thought were going to help get them into that playoff spot. And then they didn't. They played their harder teams first. And now they're going to have to play against, only playoff teams going forward, basically.
Just all the more reason for them to make excuses, man. Why they got to cry? They're a really good team.
Yeah.
Dame's a great player. Doesn't have to complain all the time about everything.
I agree.
Just go out there and play. He's really good. He's really exciting to play. I want to root for him. It's just hard when he just constantly cries about everything's unfair to him.
Yes. So right now we don't know the schedule. We do know that they will be playing on July 31st. We do know that if the NBA Finals go to a Game 7, they will be playing on October 12th. That is a Monday night, and they will be going up against Monday Night Football. That is the other issue going on here. They are going to be playing into the first month of football, NFL, college football, etc. You're also going to have golf on. You're going to have, all these other sports that are happening. If MLB comes back, you'll have NHL. You'll have. I don't know that we'll have enough channels to be able to get all these. So anybody that wants to watch this probably going to have to get League Pass, right? Like playoff games, will find a way to get on TNT, etc.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to find nearly as many on ESPN, etc., because there's just not room for all of it. Like it's going to get moved to ESPN News or whatever, right? It's now the good news is it is coming back. The bad news is we still don't know everything just yet. So we're waiting on that. But
had they came back a month ago, we would be a lot better off. Them having their Game 7 against a Colts, whatever other
Chargers
team,
and Saints.
Chargers team, like on Monday Night Football. If it's a Game 7 of an NBA Finals, it'll be the first basketball game in a long time to beat the NFL game. It goes head to head, but it's going to beat that. And they're not. I wouldn't be worried about that. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
They're at a point now where we can't worry about petty stuff. All right. We can't worry about avoiding this and avoiding that because we just took 3 months off.
Yeah, I agree.
March, April, May, nothing happened. We're into June. Nothing's happening. So
and this is not
at some point in time, we can't say, well, it's really hard to go against football. You know what? You'll at least find out how you stack up against football. All right. And if it's bad, then maybe somebody will sit down behind closed doors and say, what can we do different? How can we not have these problems and gain some traction?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know what that answer is, by the way. I'm just saying avoiding them is not an option right now unless you just want to end the season.
Yeah. No, you're right. They are going to have so this thing could possibly last until October 12th. Training camps for the next season will start November 10th with a possible opening night on December 1st, which is kind of crazy, less than 2 months from the end of one season to the other. The
NBA but that's draft, fine because they had 3.5, 4 months basically off between this thing.
Yeah,
so
four and a half
that would
months,
still give them 6 months off, which is more time off than they have regularly.
They will be doing the NBA draft on October 25th. Yeah. So, we're moving in the right direction. Everything looks good on that. Let's jump off of that one, and we will dive into some college football discussion here. Mike Norvell. This became a major trending topic today, and I at first did not understand what in the world was happening, right? You go to Norvell's Twitter page, and you didn't see anything for the most of it. There was a reporter, let's see, Michael jumped in. He said, I really like Dame. He seems like a good guy. He's the 5-year-old at Walmart that can't have a toy. And Ethan Hardy Benson jumped on Facebook, said, is this a podcast? Yeah, and it's also a live show. So we just we release the podcast whenever we get done recording. So welcome in. We appreciate you joining. The Mike Norvell stuff, basically defensive tackle Marvin Wilson came out and disputed a reporter saying that that Norvell had told him he had reached out to every player individually and had a conversation about what is going on in this country in the aftermath of the George Floyd murder last week. He basically said, Wilson came out and said, look, he didn't have a conversation with everybody. Like, he didn't reach out to everybody. He sent a group text. Like, and then, of course, they had a team meeting today. They all discussed it, and it appears that everything is okay. But Shame on Norvell for trying to sound like the knight in shining armor here. Yeah, we did everything great. It was, we've reached out to everybody. We're having these conversations. The fact of the matter is, yeah, he sent a group text that sent the same thing to every player individually. So he's not completely wrong there. He did send an individual text to everybody, but it was the same text to everybody. Chris, tell me your thinking here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was disappointed in Norvell because it's just one of those things where it feels like it's the same thing we talked about yesterday with all these companies feeling like it's their, they all now everybody has to make a statement. Can't you just do the right thing in your organization and not broadcast like some big statement? I made the comment today that literally I got an email yesterday from a company called WeatherTech that makes weather mats or rubber mats for your floorboards for your car. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've never bought them before, but I did I'm on their email list because at one point in time I thought about buying them, and they sent an email out to everybody with their statement on what all is going on. I'm thinking, you know what? I hope that you run a good business. I hope that you take care of the minorities in your workplace, and I hope that you do things the right way. I don't need an email telling me your thoughts about what's going on.
Now, to be fair, I'm gonna defend Norvell just a touch here. He was asked by a reporter. Now,
yes, all these people are going to say, "Well, I was asked."
Yeah,
it's real easy to say we are communicating with our guys.
Yeah.
Now you're just trying to make yourself look super woke. You're trying to make yourself look better than you are, and then you end up making yourself look like an idiot.
This never would have been news if he had been telling the truth.
That's right.
Like that's
and he didn't have to say I sent a text, because I know then that sounds shitty. I can't go on national TV and say, well, I sent a text message to everybody and asked in a big group text, "You boys doing okay?" Like you can't say that. So just kind of find a way to blah, blah, figure out a way.
The way that you just said it was perfect. Look, we are communicating with our players.
Yeah.
I have an open door policy. Those that want to talk to me about it can.
And maybe after being asked that question, maybe he thinks, maybe I should reach out to. I wanted to answer that I reached out to everybody. Maybe I should take this time to reach out to everybody.
Yeah.
Because I thought when I was asked that question, that's the right thing to do. So maybe that is the right thing to do or at least I just told this reporter I did this. So maybe now I need to, before this comes out in the news, actually go do all these things that you said. But to say it and then never do it, just disappointing. Just because we love Norvell. We're in the tank for him, but it's just.
Joseph Gomez jumps in on YouTube. He said, "Actions speak louder than words. The climate has changed. Where was everyone 4 years ago?" Well, we didn't have the George Floyd murder on tape 4 years ago.
But we had enough. We had enough 4 years ago.
Plenty,
but people just felt differently, and today we have evolved.
He said,
"This is the thing that you and I had a discussion about earlier too. Is off camera. Is I never fault people for showing up late to the party. I just don't. I've evangelized. I've got you to the party. You're on board now. Now I got other people to try to get on board. Once I have a win's a win, and let's move on. Yes, do I wish you got on 2 months ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever? Yes. You didn't? You're here now? Awesome. This is the cause. This is what we need help with. Let's go forward."
He said, "I still don't see action for resolution and eventual progress."
No, we haven't seen action outside of the commissioner of the Big Ten from anybody, really.
No. And now I do think that will spearhead a lot of these things. Especially in college athletes college athletics, excuse me. Matt said it was interesting getting random emails from companies with their statements. Kind of surprised who all has my email. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, you find out who all's got your email. Well, right. I kind of knew who had my email because they all sent me an email about their process for COVID as well. And I'm thinking, I appreciate WeatherTech letting me know that they're handling COVID okay. Like, I'm handling my own business. I don't care how you're handling your damn business. You make floor mats, for Christ's sake.
We don't need to know your thoughts on COVID or on the George Floyd stuff.
No, I don't. Or anything going on in our country.
You got that right.
Unless you're out of the format business and you're doing something else, then I need to know that.
To go back to Joseph Gomez, the stuff that went on about Norvell was just completely ridiculous. Okay, yes, let's see. Damian said, "Where the hell was the people for the past centuries, not just the past 4 years?" Yeah, exactly. I mean, this has been a problem for a long time. We all acknowledge that. We all know that. But people coming out and saying, if you go down these Twitter rabbit holes and you see some of these comments that were made about Mike Norvell, look, Chris, you got to meet Norvell at one point, didn't you?
I mean, by meeting him, like, hi. And I've never shaken his hand. I don't know that he ever spoke to me.
I've shaken his hand. I've talked to him, a couple of times.
I've been in his presence.
He's a good guy. You will not hear a single bad word about this guy. And it's just insane, the people that will spout off stuff calling him, every name under the sun just based off of this. It was obviously a miscommunication. But I don't think it necessarily makes him an awful person.
No, it doesn't. But he definitely, it's not just a miscommunication. Like he did lie about this, but at some point in time,
it was a very obvious mistake that could have been avoided.
That's right.
But I don't think he's an awful person at all.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
It's the crazy thing. It's the same thing with like Drew Brees, right? Like we all know Drew Brees is a good dude.
Yep. I thought vehemently that he was wrong. But
it's
does
crazy.
That make him a terrible person? No, I just think he's wrong.
It's crazy how quickly these things shift. Because yesterday we're worried about, has Drew Brees lost his locker room completely? And then today you see his teammates come out and, he apologized to it. Like we all had a conversation.
Yeah.
We're all good.
I accept his apology. Yes. This is how it's supposed to work. Somebody says something dumb. Then they apologize, and we have a conversation about why we disagreed with it. You don't just say you're sorry, but you need to figure out why you thought the way you thought, and now can I get you on board with my thinking? But at the end of the day, we move on. That's a good thing. That's a positive thing. That's a positive step. Once again, if somebody can change his mind and get him to what I believe, what you believe, I think, is right side of thinking. Now, you can disagree with us and still be a good person. You can still be everything fine, but in our mind, right-sided thinking, then that's another fighter in the a soldier in the fight against this thing, and let's move forward.
Yes,
100%. He's got a hell of a lot bigger platform than we do. So if we can get him thinking right, don't villainize him, don't destroy his reputation. Let's now use his voice and platform for good.
Yes, and the same thing with Norvell has happened here. They had their team meeting. They all discussed it. There have been way more student athletes that came out in support of Norvell today than came out against him yesterday. And that's always a good, it's a step in the right direction.
That's the difference between him and Brees. Drew Brees is known by hundreds of millions of people. Mike Norvell is known by maybe 1 million people. Okay.
A small niche.
Their platform and the people that know him, 80% of those don't care. Those players, their opinion of him that matters so much more than Drew Brees' locker room.
Yes.
Okay. When Norvell does something stupid or says something stupid, it really affects the 150 kids in that room.
Yes. You're right.
That's who really is affected. Brees saying something, he's got a much bigger voice and a much bigger platform. And so they are different things. If his players forgive him, move forward, and they have a good relationship, then we're having a different conversation and we can move on.
Yes. Ben said true that, by the way. Matt Miller jumped in and said Twitter is a place for the exceptionally woke and people who refuse to have actual conversations for the most part. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's a scary place. Social media is, it's vile. It's incredibly vile sometimes.
That's right.
Damian jumped in and said, why the hell do people get to lie? Lying isn't going to get you anything. And Ben responded and said, people lie. That's human nature. I think it's a good answer. I mean, there's no real excuse. There's no real answer for that.
I don't like the line, but at the same time, what's the proper punishment for it? That's where I get messed up on is, yes, he lied. We can't get away from that. So what do we do with that? I mean, we just shoot the guy, just take him out back, and all right.
I mean, there were people talking about the fact that
we got to figure out what's right and what's wrong with it.
There were people saying Norvell could lose his job.
I know. That's it. I know.
I mean, one, that was never going to happen. Florida State would owe him way too much money, and they're already paying $14 million to another guy to coach in the same state, just not at their place. So Damian Estrada said, I don't see why people are shocked with Breeze. Did everyone forget he sat and took a picture with Trump at the national championship game? No, nobody forgot that. I mean, but at the same time, like, he took a picture with the president. I mean, it was in his home city, like,
his home stadium.
Yeah, in his home stadium. I don't think that necessarily means that he supports him, but it is what it is. Either way, let's dive off of that. Let's talk about something else. If you want to bring up Trump, we can definitely bring this up. Georgia Tech, and we'll go on and name the other ones, Gonzaga, Missouri, etc. There are more schools that will be taking off mandatory team activities on November 3rd so that their student athletes can go vote. Missouri yesterday marched for, I forget how many miles it was, and took a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds for, to respect the George Floyd situation. It had like 60-something players register to vote.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
And I think this will be, it's going to end up eventually being all the teams in the NCAA. It may be every college from here on.
We have talked about this, you and I, off record. Why that is not a national holiday is beyond me.
Oh, it makes no sense.
I mean, you working in Memphis, you're quite a bit away from the poll in which you vote. You've got a 2-hour window that you're allotted based on the laws of they have to let you off so early in advance before these polls close. I mean,
or you can come in late. Either way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a hard thing to do sometimes, and I don't understand why, if this thing is so important, why isn't it just a holiday? Why don't we just do it?
Or I'll tell you this, why in the world do we not just do it on a Monday? Like, that way it's an extended weekend, that it's easier to be a national holiday. I
don't know that matters. In most businesses, 80% of businesses, I don't know that if they had to work Monday, take off Tuesday, and show back up Wednesday, it affects the flow of work. But I think for 80% of the people in the world, their job, if you work in a factory or a warehouse, it's no different. If you work in an office, 80% of the time, that's just no different. It's just make it a national holiday. The fact is, we'd have to change the law to do that because we have a set date that is a law on our books. That's really hard to do. Making something a national holiday is pretty damn easy.
Yeah, it certainly is.
It's senseless. And people need to get out and vote. Yes. I am a big proponent of voting. Vote for everything. Vote for your local things, even more than the federal stuff. I am a cynic, okay? I'm a very open and honest cynic. I don't trust anything happening in the federal government at all, and I don't know that if we actually could control it, they wouldn't let us vote. I don't believe that our votes matter when it comes to that stuff. This is my opinion. I know it's a terrible opinion to have. I vote for everything. But what you can absolutely have is you call your local prosecutors. You want criminal reform in your local area. You want police reform. You call your mayor. You call your aldermen. You call your local prosecutors. You find out where they stand on things. When you don't get the answer you want, you vote their asses out. You vote the judges out that make examples of people.
That's where you can make the most change.
That's right. That's local. And man, local voting turnouts is like 18% is an unbelievable number.
Yes.
That's a damn shame for people that are hundreds of thousands, millions of people marching because of injustice that happened in a local neighborhood by a local city employee. Okay. If 18% cared at the voting booth, it's a real hard pill for me to say, you all care now though, right? Like, show up, vote.
Yes. Yes.
Find the prosecutors that might let these guys off and say, no, you let them off, you lose your job.
Yeah. Very simple stuff. Matt jumped in. We're going to get to these comments because people been firing away here. Matt said, I'd bet a lot on murder hornets. I guess we just skipped them.
Yeah, you lost. That's a loser.
Yeah, that's a loser. But Ben did say some guy killed a murder hornet in Tampa, so that's interesting. It's gone all the way from Washington State or Oregon all the way over to Tampa. So
stay on the coast. Leave us people in the middle of the country alone.
You got that right. Let's see. Matt Miller said, hopefully people realize that voting locally matters just as much, if not more, what we were just talking about.
I believe far more. I just do.
Oh, yeah. Matt said make it a Friday for the voting day. Yeah, I mean, the same idea that I had, Monday or Friday. But, hey, I don't care. Tuesday's fine. Whatever.
Show up.
Damien said, I don't see why anyone has to vote when all we're doing is voting another corrupt politician into office every year, just saying. See, that's the thing. The ones on the local level, not so much corrupt. It just depends on where you are, right?
Yeah.
So, but hey, you have much more of a voice in your hometown, in your home, county, than you do anywhere.
You can follow me. I'm a firm believer of we gotta fight through the duopoly. At some point in time, we need somebody from an independent or a Green Party or a Libertarian Party to get in here and open the gap of the duopoly. We need somebody to take the GOP and the DNC. This is my beliefs. This is my politics, and shoot those guys in the head. Not those guys, those organizations. We take them out. They're past their prime. They represent some people, but they damn sure don't represent all of us.
I'm
we
glad
have
that
to
you
break away from the two-party system. That's what's killing our country.
Yes, 100%. Right now, your choice for president is between a 75-year-old white man and a 78-year-old white man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just something about that just seems.
And the Speaker of the House and the House of Representatives and like the next four people below them are also 7-year-old white people.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Ben said, I think more people are starting to realize local voting matters. Matt said, people don't see much benefit even for being registered besides being called for jury duty. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing we got to get past, right? Matt Miller said that's why Amy Klobuchar isn't going to be the VP. She let that cop run rampant through her term in Minnesota. Yeah, Matt Miller said, and one candidate has dementia. We ain't going that far, but, Biden's definitely had some highlights on the interwebs. So, but yeah, the Amy Klobuchar stuff, that. Look,
she has to answer for that. If she's going to be VP, that's fine.
Well, no, she's got to answer in her home state for that.
But she has to answer for that. She might lose her seat in Congress because of it.
100%.
Like this, and that, hang on, not that she's a bad politician or that I wouldn't believe in her vote for her. She has to answer for that. She has to stand accountable for it.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Let's move on from there. Let's try and get out of the.
There's a lot of politics that we normally don't do on the show, but lately it's kind of
intersected with sports. I mean, you can't avoid it.
It's been part of who we are and what we're doing, and so
you can't avoid it. You just gotta tackle it, right?
Open conversation and free discourse. We don't judge anybody. It's a safe place to say whatever you want. We're not going to hate. We're going to try to
have a nice open discussion.
That's right.
That's what we always try and do. Now
I'm going to try to fight the power.
Speaking of fighting the power. We're trying to figure out exactly what the hell happened here. This situation really blew my mind. Found this last night. The headline is, Arizona State punter Michael Turk has NCAA eligibility restored after going undrafted and unsigned by the NFL. Michael Turk was a redshirt sophomore punter for Arizona State, for Herm Edwards' team. He, redshirt sophomore, had a pretty good year, was second team all Pac-12 punting. He decided he wanted to start his professional career. Well, he did not have a very good he had a great combine as far as working out. He put up 25 reps on the bench press, all that kind of mess. His numbers were great. That doesn't matter when you're a punter.
Cares about you, the punter.
Exactly. So the biggest thing is you have to make sure that when you get called to punt at the combine that you do really well. He did not. He had some not great punts going on. It didn't look good in that situation. So he was planning on really showing out at his pro day. Well, the COVID-19 stuff happened, and he did not get a pro day. And he worked with Arizona State. He wanted to come back. This man had hired an agent, had gone through the entire combine process, all that kind of stuff. But because he did not have a pro day, the NCAA reinstated him and is allowing him to come back to school. What makes it kind of crazy for Arizona State is they have already got Florida State graduate transfer Logan Tyler, who led the ACC in yards per punt last year. In 2018. He was expected to be the Sun Devil starting kicker and punter. He has not yet been admitted to Arizona State, but a lot of that has to do with, all the situation that's going on in this country, right? This is really interesting because we have heard forever that, nope, that's it. Once you go, you're gone. And now I understand we've got weird circumstances, but you're telling me a pro day would have made that much of a difference for a punter?
I don't know if it would have made a difference. I don't know any of that. I think this is a win for college football.
Yes.
I've been saying this forever. If you don't get drafted, why the hell can't you come back if you're an underclassman? You still have eligibility left.
Yeah, I agree.
If their education is the most important thing, then why are we kicking them out of school if they don't go pro?
Yeah.
I don't agree. That just somebody hasn't been able to explain that to me in a way that it gets through my big head.
I don't know if they ever will be able to because there is no good answer. So
I think this is a good thing, not a bad thing. We just need to make sure that when some DB tries to go pro and it doesn't work, or a wide receiver or a running backs have been falling more and more and more lately. If they want to come back and they have eligibility, can they? Would Elijah Holyfield have been able to come back if he didn't get signed as an undrafted free agent? That's all I want to know. I just want to make sure that it's good for everybody.
Or if you don't get drafted, if you don't want to sign as an undrafted free agent, because at that point you have an option of wherever you want to go.
That's right.
If you want to come back to school and try and get some of that guaranteed money as opposed to an undrafted free agent deal, which is not going to be nearly as lucrative as somebody that got drafted. In some cases it's more, but it is what it is.
Well, for the late round guys, if you think you're going to be a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick, you'd rather take the undrafted non-guaranteed money, but it's more.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Let me jump into these comments here. Joseph Gomez said, yes, you need someone in the middle that can't be bought off by big business, nor kowtow down to funding everything. Damian said, every politician has skeletons in their closets. I would say most. I don't know about every.
I think most everybody. I know that I haven't lived a perfect life, okay? And I think of the things in my life and think, man, if I ran for office, what would happen if that came out?
Yeah. I think everybody does, but for the most part.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Damon's saying. Everybody has those. So we can't murder people for it.
Yeah, but he's saying every politician, and I'm not
eligible anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that it's just politicians. I think it's just everybody, and I don't think that you can, say that every single politician is corrupt.
No, I don't believe that. But especially not at the beginning.
No, at the beginning,
I think a lot of people do get in with good hearts and good intentions.
Yes, 100%.
Money changes people, though.
Yeah, once you start seeing checks from different people,
you get into a job where these people make $200,000 a year, and next thing you know, they're worth $300 million. You didn't work 100 years, buddy.
No, you got that right. Matt said Saban could win a Senate seat in Alabama. Joseph Gomez said Saban could be governor in Alabama. Senate doesn't pay unless they're paid off.
That's not the solution that any of us need, by the way.
Damian said Cody Parkey. Yeah. Matt Miller said Joseph Gomez, true, but the problem is the common man can't run because it costs too much, and if you do run, you'll be paid off or paid for by big corporations, and you'll owe them. So, yeah, that's where it gets weird.
I've always wondered, back on politics, what happens if I take their money, I ran for office, I took all their money, and then once I got in, I did what I really believed to be was right. Like, would they have me killed or just have me, like, go against me the next time I run for re-election?
That's a really good question.
Because if they're going to have me killed, I think
it'd probably be closer to the killed, but it just depends on the corporation. But if it's just
they're going to vote me out next time, they're going to pay to vote me out, use their money to vote me out next time, well, the incumbent's got to pretty good fighting chance if they do a good job, no matter what the money is.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Can you take your chances?
Ben said Coach O for president. Yeah, probably in with that. Joseph said, "Hey Matthew, see Bernie Sanders." And then Matt said, "You should be able to do that in every draft." Going back to our college football conversation, yes,
yes, every draft, baseball, football, hockey, all of them.
Jose said,
"I don't understand why you can't try to get drafted, and then if you don't, just come back to school." That education means so much. It's so valuable. Why are we going to take it away from these kids because they tried to go pro? We're punishing them for taking a chance on themselves?
Yep. There you go. Matt said it needs to be like baseball. Allow them to be drafted, but they can choose to come back. The deal with baseball is a little different, though.
Baseball and hockey rules, I do believe, have it right. I just do.
But they allow you to be drafted out of high school, and then you gotta sit for 3 years if you don't go. So, like, you gotta play college baseball for 3 years. Before you go back. So,
you can be drafted after your freshman year. If you come back after your freshman year and don't choose to go into the pool, you can't come back the next year. You must wait till your junior year.
Okay.
You can't enter the draft 3 years in a row. It's basically the rule.
Joseph Gomez, or Matt Miller said, Joseph, another millionaire parading around as a, quote, common man. Damian said, that's where the hell was these for Trubisky? Typo, I guess. Joseph said, I'll take it rather than an overweight orange. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Matt Miller said,
we have opened Pandora's box. We have completely derailed.
It seems like it. Matt Miller said, ask JFK. He did it with the mob. Damian said, if you want to know, just ask the Kennedys. And then Matt, of course, jumps in and says Epstein didn't kill himself.
But hang on. Yes, JFK did it at the presidency level. I agree with that. I am a conspiracy theorist believer, and I do think that he was taken out. My issue is they going to kill the local governor or the local senator too?
I doubt it.
I mean, the president is one thing. I get it. You bought that seat. That's an expensive seat. But the state Senate seat in Mississippi, is it there? You going to kill me if I lied to you the first time?
I doubt it. I mean, who knows? Anyway. It just depends on how much the money was, right?
Well, about horrible people doing really dumb things. Maybe dumb people doing horrible things. You want to move to the last topic?
Yeah, let's go into this last topic here. I
can't figure this one out. I really can't figure this one out.
I'm really floored about it. So here's the latest topic of the latest headline of it. It says Bills rookie quarterback Jake Fromm apologizes for, quote, elite white people text. It was.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I don't even know what to do but laugh now. I really don't.
Here's what he said in the conversation. Right. It said the conversation took place in 2019. Basically, Fromm wrote, but no, guns are good. They just need to let me get suppressors. And then he said, just make them very expensive so only elite white people can get them. Ha ha. Then Fromm went on to claim he was not an elite white person later in the conversation. And he released an apology today. It said, I am extremely sorry that I chose to use the words elite white people in a text message conversation. Although I never meant to imply that I am an elite white person, as stated later in the conversation, there is no excuse for that word choice and sentiment. While it was poor, my heart is not. Now more than ever is the time to support togetherness. And I stand against racism 100%. I promise to commit myself to being a part of the solution in this country. I addressed my teammates and coaches in a team meeting today, and I hope that everyone can forgive me. I'm just like,
I don't even know what to do but laugh. And it's not a laughing matter, but I don't know what else to do.
It's kind of a laughing matter because, I mean, you gotta laugh at some of this stuff just to keep from being like, what in the world are we doing
How
here?
Are you this dumb?
Yes. Like, I understand he was talking to one of his friends, but still, this was in 2019.
Yes.
He was a sophomore.
It came out in a really bad time. If this would have randomly came out, 9 months ago, it wouldn't have been great. But coming out today,
I mean, it's just it floors me. The person that shared it was a girl that I don't know if it was a sister or a girlfriend or something of the guy that Jake Fromm was texting, from what I understand. And then, of course, we get the news that Fromm, they were discussing, the Bills were possibly getting, just releasing Fromm. He didn't cost that much money.
No, he was a super late pick.
Ben asked, did you guys read the whole conversation? Yes, read the whole conversation. There is no way to explain this. There's no way to go around it.
I don't get it. I don't know.
No, it's just ridiculous. He said, so Ben said that girl wanted to be cool and leaked those texts, which is kind of messed up. Not an excuse for Fromm, though. That's the thing. She leaked the text messages, and even if you're just talking to your friends, it's not really something to joke about.
We don't need to be having those conversations with our friends. What you say in private is how you really feel about things.
You
can say I was joking all day long, but the things that you say in private is where your real heart is.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't have any friends that would ever say something like that.
I don't.
I think back through my text messages.
I'm not going to say that. I don't know that I don't, but.
Well, how about this? Nobody has said it to me. I feel like
they don't. They know that if they say it to me, that we're going to have a different conversation and it'll get awkward and uncomfortable. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm totally comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations.
Now then, in high school, I 100% had friends that I had to talk to about this kind of thing. And
I'm not going to get into that. In high school, I could have been the guy, and this is a terrible thing. I could have been the guy that said something like that in high school.
This was 2 years removed from high school. So, for Jake Fromm, he's still a young guy, but he still should be smarter than that. And I feel like we've advanced more as a country.
My high school years was the 90s, all right?
That's what I was about to say.
We used a lot of words we can't use now. Fromm knows that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. It was
that's what I'm saying. I feel like we have advanced as a country since then. We have progressed. It is what it is. Matt jumps in and said, I think I need to run for president so I can fill in some of the details of my 20s because he may not be able to remember them. Joseph said,
here's my question about Fromm and the Bills.
That's what I was about to get to. He said, did Fromm get caught and is now just backtracking? And then he said, what gun did he buy? Damian said Fromm equals Breeze. And I don't think that's exactly the same either.
I don't think they're close.
No, not even close.
What Fromm did is way worse than anything Breeze did. And Fromm also doesn't have near the footprint or platform that Breeze does at all. Close. But here's what sucks. It really sucks for the Bills because the Bills now have two quarterbacks on their roster that they honestly have to apologize for shit that they tweeted, said, got leaked out, whatever.
Yeah, that's
and
a problem.
That sucks for Bills fans. It's because, come on, man.
Yeah,
if you're a Bills fan and you were tired of Josh Allen and you didn't like the stuff that came out when he got drafted, and now you got this other guy named Fromm, and he comes in and he's high pedigree, low draft stock. Maybe he could be, our next heir apparent kind of thing and take over, whatever. And then this is we can't win for losing, man.
It sucks. Damian jumped in on YouTube, said people need to shut the hell up and keep things to themselves if they don't want to get judged. I think that's really smart advice for a lot of people. Really.
Yeah. Talk less. Act more.
It blows my mind that we are still having these conversations. You can have disagreements here and there, but what he said in the text message, one, to get back to the Breeze thing, completely different than what Breeze was saying. You can have
reasonable people can disagree with Breeze.
Yes,
I do believe that you can have Breeze. I don't agree with it. I think you can have that and not be a terrible person. I don't think you can believe this. Yes. I don't think you can believe what Fromm said and not be a terrible person. Now, whether it's a joke or, I didn't mean, I was just dicking around, whatever.
Yeah.
There is a lot of that. There's a lot of dicking around and there's some, but I get no passes for that here.
No.
Just can't.
Not from us. Not from us. And probably not from anybody.
Just an idiot. Just an idiot.
You got that right. All right, that's going to wrap up today's show. I hadn't seen anything else breaking.
Weird show.
Yeah, definitely. But
it's a weird time, though. I mean, hell, I don't know what normal is anymore.
It definitely is. For anybody that is still watching, we're going to have a pretty big announcement next week. So hopefully all of you will stick around for us. I'm not sure what day, all that kind of mess, but just letting you know there is something on the horizon that we're pretty excited about regarding the future of the show going forward. So we'll We'll talk about that when we get there. Matt Miller jumps in. He said, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and to remove all doubt. It's better to keep your mouth shut and appear stupid than open it and remove all doubt. Yeah. 100%. Good way to end it. And then Ben said, this is why I hate Georgia. Yeah, I mean, you can hate Georgia for other reasons.
I'm okay with using this as a reason to hate Georgia.
Kevin, KB said adios, and then Jim John said, how long to leave us on a cliffhanger? About a week. That's it. It's not long.
We didn't mean to. Listen, we're waiting
on
solid information, too. You're on a cliffhanger. I'm holding my breath, turning blue over here, holding my breath.
Yeah, we got to get everything figured out and whatnot before we announce anything, but it's definitely good news. It's good for everybody. So
yeah, it's good for us. I don't know about everybody else. It's good for us.
Ben said, give us a hint. Well, it has to do with the show and what we're going to do in the fall. So that's enough of a hint, I do believe. It has to do with football. How's that?
Running for governor of Mississippi. That's it.
You probably should have already announced that.
Open the Venmo. Send me some cash.
You got what, 2 years? Okay. KB said pizza reviews. No, I'm not going to steal.
I'm not ripping off somebody else's. We rip off enough people's shtick as it is. Can't take that.
We're going to be doing our own thing, but it'll be all good. All right, I didn't realize that many people were watching at the end of this thing. You guys are awesome.
Look at that, they care.
Yeah, you guys actually care. I appreciate that. So since you care so much, do us a favor, share the show out. That's going to help us along with this situation. Share the show, tell everybody you know, make sure you download it, and leave some podcast reviews. For the love of God, leave some reviews. We would appreciate that. You guys have been wonderful. As always, you help drive the conversation. We couldn't do the show without you. It wouldn't be the same. You guys make it entertaining. You make it wonderful, and we appreciate you for that. Check out tunicatravel.com. Check out winningcureseverything.com. And we will see all of you. No. I gotta do the tagline, right? Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet at us.